Hi, I'm Happy, the Crafty Chemist. This is what I did in August of 2025, and I honestly didn't finish very much. In fact, I created a lot of whips for myself, and some of them I will finish, and some of them are just going to be long-term whips. So this was actually, the first one I'll show you is a whip from last month July in Magical Worlds by Joanna Basford. And I finished up this page with the whale on it. In July, I did like sharks and whales and underwater things. I covered this page entirely with gesso, all of the lines and everything all the way around. You can kind of see it a little bit. And then I used colored pencils and Inktense over the top of it, and actually it looks like a little bit of gel pen there, but not really much gel pen, just wanted those lines to kind of show up on the whale. I like how it came out, and I will probably do it again, but it was very, very textured and took a lot of pencil and layers to get the white gesso scratchiness, like the roughness, covered up. So I did want to do it kind of like everything under the water was the greens and stuff except for the whale, and then made the clouds to kind of contrast with that. Yeah, so it is actually covered with the Caran d'Ache colorless blender as well, so that I could get the colors to really blend in there and not come off, so nothing's coming off. Pardon me, I do have the windows open, and a cement trunk just went by. I'll put this back onto the bottom. Next, I have 2 pages done in Garden of Fairy Tale Animals. The first one, and this book, I love this book, but it is falling apart. And so, let's see, I can just take that one out so you can't see it just yet. But I did this page here with the frogs on it for August, Frogust. And I used colored pencils and gel pens in here. Really didn't use anything else that I can recall. No, maybe a little bit of Inktense, but I really don't see that. So, and I actually did use a little bit of acrylic marker, and here I am doing that part of the page. I forgot that I had recorded this as a sort of in-process part of coloring this page, because I did all of the lattice work with this acrylic pen, and then, as we'll see in the next clip, I went over it with Inktense to create the shadows. And I really like how that turned out. So I will just let the video play from here. So let me know what you think of this kind of content being added into the middle of my finished pages video. But I was trying to make the lattice look very three-dimensional and bright and happy. Now the facing page, it goes over here, has fallen out, and I will tape it in with some museum like restoration tape. And I wanted to wait and do it until I'd colored both pages, so which is why I went ahead and colored this one. I kind of want to wait a little bit longer and do this one and the facing one of the trees before I tape it in, so that way I can actually take it out and not worry about it kind of falling out. But like I said, this book has fallen apart. A lot of pages have come out of it, and I want to keep them in order for how the author intended. I love this book. But this is the other page I did in here, and because it is the facing page, like I said, I wanted to finish it up. And for this one, I did use some Inktense in here again, colored pencils, a little bit of gel pen, and a little bit of acrylic paint pen on these dots on the lilies up there, those Asiatic lilies. And it was a lot of fun, you know, kind of reminded me of spring, but I wanted to make it a little bit of a rainy scene. Added a few extra like bubbly kind of things in there. And a lot of this again is covered with the Caran d'Ache colorless blender. This one I did a couple of years ago. Yeah, this one was done in 2023. And so I may work on these in the coming months so that I can tape those back in there. I love this book though. Next, we can get into my gore of the month. And this month I did one out of Fairy Nightmares, and it is Horned Toads. Obviously they were the closest I could get to Froggist. So in here I did watercolor for the entire background, like everything was covered in watercolor. I didn't even go back and do anything with these white flowers, which I thought might be daffodils, so I just kind of went with them as daffodils. And these guys I went with Black Eyed Susans, and then I went in and colored over the watercolor to make it a little bit brighter with acrylic paint pen. I did more background coloring with Inktense over the watercolor, and then I did color pencil over that. I also did over, there's a lot of little dots in here that are kind of black, and I did over them and added extra in with an acrylic paint pen and over the weird fumes coming out of here. And these toads, they aren't really gory to me, but you know, maybe Black Eyed Susans are a little bit creepy. But, you know, it's fun. So I tried to make it, I think these guys are way down in the grass. It was a lot of confusion at first with what was going on here, and I kind of figured out that they were like in front of a little gate and the magic was kind of spilling out of there. But these are blades of grass, and so these toads are kind of little, so definitely not super scary. But I've only done one other in here, so I was glad to have a second one done. Where are you? I had done this one in here, so I did get this year, but it's fun. It's a fun book. There's a lot of neat things in there. All right, then I have Magical Earth, which has a whip in it, and I did intend to finish it, but I haven't, and I'll take it back downstairs. So you can see how I do the watercolor background, and then I go in with the colored pencils and paint pens if I need to. I haven't done any paint pens on top of it yet, but this little girl or woman is reading in the ruins, and it could be a dog, could be a wolf. We did have a dog that looked very similar to this, so I'm kind of going off of that for him. And carrying the lanterns and stuff. These bugs had little circles around them, so I was like, okay, well, they must have light coming out of them because it matches the lanterns. So for the most part, everything has been based. You know, the girl isn't quite based, and these windows, I haven't figured out how they fit into everything because this is a really weird structure. But I last finished doing all of the trees. I think I'll probably go in and do the bricks next, and then I need to get into the shelves and the books before I tackle the dog and the girl. So the other thing about Frogust is also I was trying to do Dogust, and I did not. This is the only dog I started, so I'll finish this up in September. I've been meaning to do this page for a long time. It was on my list for a very long time, and so I'm really glad that I at least got it started, and I can finish it up in September, hopefully. Well, I actually do have something marked in here. I had this one marked for Dogust as well, but it also fits for Spacetember, so I think I probably will go ahead and do this one for Spacetember. This whip in here, I started it on August 1st and I never touched it again. So it was just whatever this is. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if I spend some more time on this month. I don't know if I will or not, you know. Just sometimes I'm too overwhelmed and I just want to color something. All right, in Flora, I actually have 2 whips, I think. So this one I wanted to paint around the outside with gesso. No, this is, I'm sorry, not gesso. This is acrylic paint around the outside. And I used just like little fine liners to color this whole thing. And I did it like a year ago, and the colors came through from a few of the pens. And so I needed to cover this. I don't know exactly how I'll finish covering it, but maybe some acrylic paint and pencils over the top of it. This is probably a long-term whip. And then also, since this one was facing and I had a little bit of this blue left, I just went ahead and sloppily colored in the windows, and then of course made a sloppy there. So I have some other things to fix on this as well, but again, probably a long-term whip. Just come back to it whenever I feel up to it. Or maybe never, who knows? And then I do have a whip in Magical Worlds that's also frogs, and I plan to finish this one up because I've got a little bit of progress on it. So obviously I started doing some background work on it, and then I just have the vines and the frogs left. So this is all colored pencil, and I haven't even used anything else on it, just colored pencils. So I will keep going with that, I think. Just colored pencils on it, and in the evenings when I just need something to relax with, I do have a bunch of things picked out in here for Spacetember, and I have no idea if I'll actually do them, but there's the house with the space scene there, and there's these 2 pages here with rockets and a bunch of planets and satellites. Obviously I make a lot of plans and don't always follow through. I have this one as a potential witchy thing. I am going to be starting on fall and Halloween this month. I do love coloring fall and Halloween, so I like the creepy. I do the gore of the month. This one also felt very fall. And the facing one could be a Spacetember, but I have a lot picked out for Spacetember. So much that I may revisit in November. We have our Space Week on my university campus in November. So that is it for the coloring for the month of August. Not really that much to show, only 1, 2, 4 pages finished and a bunch of whips. So if you made it through, thanks for watching and happy coloring.